So this video is very late. I do want to apologize for that. A lot of obstacles kept getting in my way, and we just had to figure out a way to work around all that stuff. But we're here now. This is Arcane in Halo Reach on MCC. I will be doing a little kind of a breakdown interview, inserting my own opinions on the level design of it. I'm by no means a professional level designer, but I just thought this would be kind of cool to get different point of views on a custom map that someone else made. So maybe, maybe we'll agree on some things, won't agree on everything, and maybe some people can, some viewers can take away from it. Maybe they want to pursue level design or something similar, and possibly this can help out with that too. So we'll get started here. The weapons, first off, is the frag grenade, then we have the needler in the exact same room on both sides. And then here we have the plasma pistol and the magnum. Now in my opinion, I would have just replaced the plasma pistol with another magnum in both corners, and then have a plasma pistol somewhere else using it as a power weapon. Could have possibly placed it where these plasma grenades are, and then put the plasma grenade somewhere else, and kind of spread them out like the frag grenades are. And then we have the power weapons, the shotgun and the grenade launcher, directly across from each other, but with a slight vertical change. I like the use of this satellite piece, making the Halo-ish type of shaped door. I don't really know how else to explain it, but it really adds to the Halo vibe of the map, which it does have. Other problem where you are kind of forced to go around a long walk. You kind of have to take a long ways to get up a ramp. You're not really you're not really left with another option, and a good way of doing that would be to lower some of the surfaces, so you could just crouch jump. Don't have it at perfect jump height, so that way you still do have that little bit of height difference, but at the same time it makes it where if one player is coming from a different direction, they can still get up there without going around the whole way. The problem that I have with the map is that some surfaces can be hopped onto because of it being elevated on that side of that surface. So the people who already have the height advantage can hop on top of a piece that you may be trying to hide behind, and there's nothing you can do about it. I wish I would have recorded gameplay on this map, but this is already late enough and I didn't want to delay it even more. But I did play Capture the Flag on it, 2v2 Capture the Flag, and even though this map on a 4v4 mode would have played just as well, a 2v2 mode with objectives on this map was still amazing. It played very smooth still, which was incredible, because for most Forge maps, even most developer maps on Halo, if you do 2v2 or 1v1 or anything that isn't 4v4 or free-for-all with objectives, it usually doesn't work. And even free-for-all with objectives usually is a little bit iffy. So just the fact alone that 2v2 Capture the Flag worked extremely well on this map says a lot about the map design, not about the mode, at least in my opinion. Anyway, we'll be moving on to the interview part. I would like to ask questions on the more unique side, allowing the map to shine for what it is instead of what it could or shouldn't be, while also allowing you, the creator, to reveal your thought process and creativity. So, first question would be, a lot of geometry is set at a 45-degree angle, which we see a lot in Halo maps, while constructing Arcane, where there any inspiration for the geometry itself? If so, how did it affect the flow and overall layout?
Well, the main focus for the geometry was Forerunner structure, and I noticed a lot of the Forerunner design by Bungie was using 45-degree angles or 30-degree angles. So I made sure that the map included a few of those for visual reasons and for layout reasons, such as the center ramps are inwards on 45 degree. Reason for that is because the central divider that comes up with the main point of verticality, I wanted to use that as a way to block line of sight, so when you spawned that you didn't face the other team directly, because I feel like that could lead to unfair engagements for people who maybe load in quicker than others and other reasons like that as well. Plus I like the idea of everyone rushing downwards instead of up this hill, and it made more of a central choke point because the ramps being 45 degrees would lead to that central door to the grav lift, and it also kind of made it more of a grenade spot where people would kind of not want to be, but also want to be if they want to get to the grav lift and shotgun spawn underneath the center of the map. I think another factor for the side dividing rooms on either side of the lanes of the map, they also were using 90-degree or 45-degree angles as well, and a lot of that was just solely because of the area I built the map in. It was quite restricting in hindsight, but I was using the walls of the play space to kind of theme the level as well, so I kind of was limited visually by this map. So looking back, there's a few things I would change, but I believe that the area I chose, if I didn't choose that area, it would not look as good as it did.
Verticality is a big part of this map, and rightfully so, as it is a Halo map, and as any type of artist knows, you are never completely satisfied with any project. Is there anything you would have liked to alter or even remove from this map?
Yeah, so verticality is a big factor of every Halo map, I'd say. A lot of Halo maps use quite a few tiers of high variation compared to Call of Duty, where you'd have maybe one to two. Um, I wanted to make sure when I was designing my map that I made it feel more like a Halo map than a COD map or any other game in that factor, and that was solely for gameplay reasons. So in the middle of the map, you have this central spire where the grenade launcher spawns, which is a like power position, I guess you could call it, because you have line of sight down the whole center of the map, and you can also backpedal slightly to get line of sight down one of the lanes. But opposite that, there's also another height, which is exactly where the grav lift leads out onto, and it's slightly lower than the vantage point, but it also offers a point for contention to the people up top, where they can't actually backpedal to get cover, and it kind of makes them feel a bit uncomfortable sitting up in that power position for too long. Because I intentionally designed the map to be symmetrical as well, I wanted to make sure that the line of symmetry was balanced for both teams. So both red and blue team will spawn on the exact same height with the exact same weapons, and I wanted to give it that kind of competitive balance in terms of map design. And the height variation is balanced for each team as well. It's exactly the same time and access for each team to reach both points of the map, so there's no advantage to one team. Like they say, an artist is never truly happy with their work. When I look back on the map, there's a load of things I'd change now. One of the main things being the route in which players take to get to the grenade launcher. I feel like the wall is very flat, and it's just not fun entering from the center of the map into these side rooms for cover when someone's up top on the vantage point, because it feels like you've got no cover and no escape. So if I could, I would add more to divide that, but due to the area I built the map, the play space is quite limiting, so I can't really expand the map anymore. That, and the map is at the prop limit pretty much. It only allows for like 3 to 4 more props, which is another reason why there's a lack of certain things in the map. But yeah, looking back on the map, there's loads of things I would change. Probably wouldn't go as ham on the visuals because it does have a slight performance issue I've noticed on Xbox, where there's like some screen tearing and frame rate can kind of drop below 60 sort of thing. So for it to be a competitively viable map, I would want it to be a stable frame rate. So potentially I would have to go back and cut down on some of the props and make it a little bit more streamlined so it's a bit more fair. But yeah, overall I'd say I'm pretty satisfied with how the map turned out, and there's not many changes I could make to make it any different, I'd say.
Personally love the level design that comes along with Arcane. Sure, I have my opinions on modifications and such, but overall it is a fun map. It works great with competitive settings. So, was competitive play in your mind at all during the initial designing process?
So when it comes to level design for me, I try to make my maps for casual and competitive players, and it can be hard to strike a balance, I feel, for that, but one of the easiest ways to make it viable competitively and fun for casual players is to make the map symmetrical. So I took the easy route and just went for symmetry with this, hence why the map is kind of confusing, I'd say, to players when they play it and get lost, because the only visual kind of clues I'd say there is the coloured red and blue areas. So that's something I'd change if I was to go back. Maybe make some areas a little bit more different, a bit more unique, maybe with the lighting, etc. But competitively, the map, I would say, works fairly well. The power weapons are in the middle, with the shotgun and grenade launcher that being, and there's a DMR spawn on both sides, which doesn't matter if you have DMR starts, but I wanted to make it so both teams start with a DMR for long range engagements in the start of the match. And yeah, both teams spawn same positions opposite each other symmetrically, so there's no sort of advantage in that way. And yeah, there wasn't much else I had to do really in terms of making it competitive, because I'd feel the spawns are fairly safe. Yeah, they're in good places to cover, and I'd say the weapon variety is as varied as I could get it in that small of a space. But yeah, looking back, I think I'd probably make the map. There's a few changes I'd make to make it a little bit more competitively viable, such as more cover, maybe another route, because at the minute it's technically only 3 lanes, which is, I know, very standard in FPS level design, but I feel like it could do with a 4th lane that goes behind the grav lift. But like I said previously, due to the limit of the play space, there's nothing I could do there. And even if I wanted to with space, I can't because of the prop limit. So yeah, that's definitely something I would probably change if I was to port this map to Infinite. Along with that, I feel like the gameplay would work quite well with Infinite on this map, with the central open space being good for the repulsor and grapple. The drop wall would also be good. A lot of Halo Infinite's equipment would work quite well on this map, I feel. But yeah, I feel like if I was to make this go to Infinite, there's a bunch of changes I'd have to make beforehand, and I think I'm going to try and port this to Infinite, but that's not on my list of priorities. I'm working on a bunch of other maps, which hopefully will correct a bunch of issues that I had when designing this map. As at the end of the day, it's all a learning experience, and you can just take what you got from your previous map and run with the info you have from it from playtesting and feedback from everyone else.
Arcane also has a lot of open spaces, which makes the grenade launcher deadly, and the narrow corridors also complement the shotgun. Were there any tests for other power weapons, or was the grenade launcher and shotgun a pretty clear choice to you?
Yeah, so with the map having a open center, I knew from design that I wanted an explosive weapon at the top. The reason I didn't want a sniper rifle is because the 2 lanes on the side of the center of the map would be way too narrow to use the sniper, in my opinion. And I feel an explosive weapon with the close quarter areas and the open areas would allow for like a mixed variation of use, such as close quarter areas would be much more easier to get the kill, but you've also got the risk of killing yourself being in that space. And then with the open area at the top with the grenade launcher, I felt that if it was an RPG, it would be too easy to get a kill with the rocket launcher. But if it was a grenade launcher, it takes a little bit more skill to kind of get the kills. And also, it allows for you to rebound off like the 45-degree walls and everything to get some kind of nice trick shots, which I thought was pretty neat. The use of the shotgun spawn underneath the map in the center is because it's quite a narrow corridor, and I feel with the narrow hallways, it's much more fun to use a shotgun than something else in that area. Like, I couldn't think of any weapon that would suit that part of the map much better. So the shotgun and grenade launcher were pretty clear choices for me to use. And looking back, maybe there's a few other weapons I could have swapped them out for, but I feel like they're the best fit for the size of this map. Like I said, the rocket launcher would be way too easy to get kills with because it's just click and pretty much a kill's there for you. And also with how narrow it is, it's much easier to not kill yourself with a grenade launcher, but it's a lot harder to kind of stay away from killing yourself with an RPG in very enclosed spaces. So, yeah, they were my clear choices.
That is it for the Arcane review and breakdown and interview, all that stuff. I'm very tired. It is 7 in the morning. I'm very sorry for the low energy and the very late video. I'm not used to doing these types of videos, and it was different and difficult. But I will get used to it. I will get better at it, and I will get more comfortable speaking and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for the next one. Very excited. I have some cool projects coming out on my own, but check out Hates. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But his Twitter and everything else will be linked in the description. So check out that stuff. And I apologize for the really bad mic. But yeah, I don't know what else to say.